What is going on, YouTube? We are back with another episode. This time, like I was saying to you last time, I had a new case coming that I'm going to put the computer inside. So this is that case. It is the Lian Li, I think that's how you say it, 011 Dynamic. This is going to be what's housing my computer from now on. So let's go ahead and get this box off. I've already mostly unboxed it. Ta-da! So this is going to be the case. It's the white version of the case. Sorry if you hear my daughter in the background. She's freaking out over the box. I guess she's part cat. But so this is going to be the case. We'll put everything inside here. We'll have our dual radiators still in here. And hopefully we'll be able to find the best way to route them in here. I don't know if we're going to have to do one back here, one down here, or if I'll be able to do top and bottom. Whatever it may be, we'll figure it out. So come with me through this process as we get this all built together. All right, so for the first part of this, we have to take everything off, clear off the desk, clear out everything, and just disassemble the whole desk so we can get everything put inside that Lian Li. And yeah, so we'll just fast forward through all this. So I've got a random gallon jug. I'm going to be just going back and forth, tilting this up and down, and getting as much fluid as I can out into here. I don't need everything out, I just need enough to start disassembling all the tubes. And then once I get the tubes disassembled, I can drain each individual part. So just trying to get the majority out, and then we'll be good to go. And yeah, so here's how I'm going to do that. Alright, so it's in position. I'll just start draining it. Take my cap off of here. Just put my nose in here. Below the bottle. Got our little ball valve. Go ahead and crack that open. Drain. This is all drained for now from the tank. We'll just alternate rocking this whole thing back and forth and getting as much down as possible. There are some slight alternates. I've done this before. Looking at these valves, or the fittings, force fluid out instead. See, I opened that fitting right there. A lot of stuff's already flowing back down. Alright, so that is done bleeding some of that air out. I'm just going to blow on this lightly. The downside of this is when you blow on these pipes, there is some residual stuff. If you have a napkin, which I actually do, it's probably best to go ahead and clean these off so that you're not getting all this stuff in your mouth. And then another thing I'm going to do is block this piece up here, because if I don't, there's potential that the force of me blowing things through this and back out is going to blow stuff out of this right onto the PSU here. So actually I'm just going to put the rack right here. Alright guys, so I'm not sure really how much was missed. My camera died in the middle of me recording. So I'm on my phone now recording, so sorry for the drastic change in quality probably. But so everything is drained out of this. Now I'm going to start disassembling it. Perfect. That's what it is. So we'll take off all the tubes, take out all the parts, and yeah. So for the disassembly, just using a basic small screwdriver set. Alright, so that was all probably blurry and out of focus, so unfortunately you're not going to see much disassembly. Refocus my camera. But everything's disassembled now. We have our graphics card there, RAM, motherboard. I'm not going to take it much further than that. You guys already know what's in it, so I'm just going to transfer, well, I'm going to clean everything out and then transfer it over to the other computer. So, quick recap on the parts that are in this build for those who weren't around before. We have an i9-9900K mounted onto an Aorus Z390 Ultra motherboard. On that motherboard, we also have two M.2 solid state drives. The first one is a Samsung Evo 960. The second one is a Western Digital Black 750. The 750 is a 1 terabyte hard drive and the 960 is a 500 gigabyte hard drive. For the video card in this build, we're using the MSI RTX 2080 Ti. It's the Seahawk EK series. It was pre-mounted with a water block on it already, which is the reason I went with this model. Just because I didn't want to have to tear down a 2080 Ti and install a water block and possibly mess something up. So I wanted something that was pre-installed, ready to go. And as you can see, it has an EKW water block on it already. So it's already a pretty good water block. That's a well-known water cooling brand. So that's why I went with this one, and that's what we're going to be using for the video card. Next up, for our RAM and our power supply, we've got the Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB RAM right there. That is 2 sticks of 8 gigabytes each, 16 gigabytes total, 3200 megahertz. I went with that one at the time of purchase because it had the most customizable RGBs on it compared to the other available RAM at the time. There are other brands that have come up and made better RGBs that are equal to this now, but that's why I went with that at the time. For our power supply, I have the Corsair AX860i. It's a platinum rated, fully modular 860 watt power supply. That's why I went with that. It had everything I needed for cable management and for providing good power to all the components within the computer. And then finally, to go back over the computer case that I have now, it's the Lian Li Dynamic 011. This is in the white theme. There's white and black from what I saw. I think there's also different ones, like a RGB one for Razer now or something like that. But I went with the white. This is a mid-tower size, but as you can see, it is very wide compared to a normal mid-tower. And that's just due to the fact that they've designed this so that you can do a lot of water cooling in a mid-tower size. So as you can see, down in the bottom here, we have space for a radiator there, we have a space for a radiator back here, and then there's space for a radiator up top, but within the case, of course. So it has a lot of versatility in terms of what you want to do with radiators and such. So that's why I went with this case. I think it's going to provide me the best capability to mount both my 360 millimeter long by 60 millimeter wide radiators. And then I also have to mount my Thermaltake D5 pump. So I believe this case should give me the capability to do all that. So now we're just going to go ahead and get everything mounted up in here. It might take a while because I have to figure out how it's all going to flow, but we will get it done. Okay guys, so we've run into a problem with the graphics card. It needs to be vertically mounted because, as you see, it stands taller than the case is wide. So I will have to get that vertically mounted. I need to find out how that works because the case does not seem to have come with a vertical mount, but I know it supports a vertical mount. So we'll have to, luckily I've already got the Thermaltake thing, but we'll have to get something so that can be mounted like this. But it could be something like this, or it'll come through there, be held up like that. But yeah, until then, I have to pause. There's nothing I can do. Alright, I'll get back whenever I figure this out. Okay guys, so we have figured out the bracket. It's pretty ghetto, I won't lie. I just used two of the little plates that go on the back to protect where the graphics card would go normally. Took two of those, mounted them there, and then took another one, mounted it here so it holds it up, and then the pipes are actually doing most of the supporting, and it's fairly stable. This is supporting the weight at least to here and here, so this is mainly just keeping it still, and I'm not too worried about it. It's mainly going to be sitting still. Now I just have to route the power and then get the pump all hooked up, and we should be good to go. Okay guys, we have finished the build. Sorry I didn't record the full thing for you. I ran into a lot of complications with it due to the size of the case and the radiators that I chose. So I wound up taking hours to do this and get everything fixed right. So I didn't want to get it all I couldn't record it all truthfully. It was just too much time. So this is the finished build. Let me go ahead and turn it on for you. Go. She's starting up. We do have the LED lights are now plugged into the motherboard. Before I had it hooked up to a IR reader where I would use this remote here, and this remote would control what colors the LEDs were, but now it's hooked to my motherboard, so it just matches whatever pattern my motherboard's doing at the time. So go ahead and take you off and move you in. So the first thing I ran into a problem with was the vertical mounting of my GPU. The GPU is extremely large on this for the MSI Seahawk EK edition. So the top portion where the hose connects up here for the water block, that actually stuck out too far, and if I had left it on, it was going to be way out here past the glass. So I couldn't do it regular horizontally mounted as you saw in the video, so I had to figure out something to mount it vertically. I really had to ghetto rig something because I was in a time crunch, so unfortunately I made this ugly bracket down here. I just took the video card slot covers, took two of those and just matched them together to stack it high enough. It is held together with like an extremely strong hot glue, so it looks like crap right now. My plan is to paint over it until I can find another way to mount it that way. The Lian Li does sell a bracket to mount it vertically, but the problem is I have this 60mm tall, 360mm long radiator. It would get in the way of the bracket that Lian Li provides, or it doesn't provide, they sell. That bracket mounts right where this radiator goes. It mounts down here somewhere on the actual bottom of the case. So I wouldn't be able to use the radiator anymore. So I'll have to find something else, but in the meantime my plan is to paint over that ugly glue with some black paint, make it look a little more streamlined. The other problem I ran into was back here. So I have an extremely tall pump. It's what's provided in the MM360 Plus kit from Thermaltake. So it's too tall for this where it's at. It would normally need to be up forward near where this radiator is extending to. I could not mount it there, so I had to mount it further back. So I had to make these crazy loops to get everything to go, because it's hard to bend a 90 right out of the top there. Oh, sorry, I'm getting that huge glare from my light. It's hard to bend a 90 right out of the top there, though. So I had to bend down and do a loop back around to come into the pump there. Then this guy down here was just a pain because of the size and location of it. Getting it all figured out how to get that exact bend to be right there was a little rough. And then back in here, both of these tubes for the CPU, from GPU to CPU and CPU to radiator, both were extremely tight turns and barely any room, so it was extremely hard to get that all figured out and fit in there properly. But we did it. I got it all done. She's working good. No problems yet. And I'm really liking it. In the future, I would like to get the Lian Li specific distro plate pump that they make. It would go back where the regular pump is that I have right now. It would go right there, mount to those little brackets on the side, and it would literally just be a wall that's the pump. It looks pretty unique, and I think I might invest in that. It's quite expensive though, it's like 200 bucks. So maybe in a future video. But for now, this is what I have. Now the plan is to take this and mount it into a desk so I can lay it flat, and it will be the same general concept as what I had before, but instead it will be a movable mid-tower computer. So that is about it, guys. As you can see, I guess I could show you, I am maintaining the same desk for now, just to because I only have two desks, and one's for my laptop, one's for my desktop, and that's what I had to use. So we've got it all hooked up, it's ready to go, and yeah, so we'll get some gaming videos coming here soon, guys, and take it easy. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you want to see, and I'll see you in the next video.